As hundreds of thousands of Russians are called up to fight in Ukraine, some men of military age are fleeing the country to avoid conscription. Others have taken to the streets in rare demonstrations of resistance to the Kremlin's war in Ukraine. The mobilization announced by President Vladimir Putin earlier this week has also led to accusations of discrimination by Russia's ethnic minorities. They say they are being conscripted at disproportionate rates.
A few quick selfies and kisses goodbye on a Moscow street as this young man heads off to a military training site. He's among thousands being called up to serve in Russia's war with Ukraine. His wife runs over for one final hug before he boards the bus.
I'm going to defend my country, that's it. How's my mood? It's excellent. What can you do?
Of course, I'm very worried, but I support my husband's decision. Russian authorities claim more than 10,000 volunteers turned up at military enlistment offices across the country after Vladimir Putin issued the order to mobilize reservists this week. While some head off to fight, others are fleeing the country. Soaring prices for plane tickets mean land crossings, like this one on the border with Georgia, are jammed with traffic. They travel by car, on bicycles, and even on foot to get out. Georgia is one of a handful of countries which allows Russians to enter without visas.
The matter is not that we are afraid. The matter is that we don't like the situation. I do not like what they are doing in Ukraine. I feel sorry for our brothers. I have many relatives in Ukraine, and I don't like this at all.
The order has led to several protests across Russia, hundreds of arrests, and accusations of discrimination. In Buryatia, a mountainous republic in eastern Siberia, some 6,000 kilometers from Moscow, activists say the Kremlin is placing the burden of the mobilization and the war itself on poor ethnic minority regions.
In Buryatia, full-scale mobilization is going on. It's in no way the partial mobilization that Vladimir Putin announced earlier. And we also think that it's a question of empire. Putin many times has positioned himself as an imperialist. Everyone knows how empires treat their ethnic minorities, like something that can be used.
Some men in the region have reportedly gone into hiding. Others have responded to the mobilization order by crossing into neighboring Mongolia.
We can now speak to Russia analyst Konstantin Eggert. He joins us from the Lithuanian capital, Vilnius. Hello to you, Konstantin. So it's been 3 days now since Putin declared what he's calling a partial mobilization. What more do we know about who and how many are actually being conscripted to fight in Ukraine?
Well, see, Marina, this mobilization is not partial, but it's not partial. It's very massive. But there are exemptions which were publicized by the Kremlin yesterday. By the way, to my mind, a bit late, and they are predictable. People from state media, the Putin's propaganda machine, are excluded from this draft, or rather call-up. Bankers to ensure smooth functioning of the banking system, and IT specialists, although there are many reports that many IT specialists and many just banking clerks were called up. So it seems to be a bit of a belated reaction and trying to kind of fix areas in the Russian economy that are vital. There is, I would say, also a very fair assumption that most of state bureaucrats of high level, most of the security services and police and the Russian National Guard will remain in place and will not be called up to maintain control over the situation in Russia itself. So there are definitely exceptions, but judging by massive sort of number of reports that we get, it seems that in all other areas, it is people of different age, different occupation, those who served, those who didn't serve, that are being rounded up and sent to the training camps first, and I suppose to the front after that.
Now, there's not been much public opposition in Russia to the war in Ukraine. Is this conscription likely to change that?
I think that over time, there's going to be a certain weariness with this war, especially when bodies start to come back to the families en masse. Frankly speaking, Marina, before that, it was war on television for the majority of Russians. Now it's going to enter quite a lot of homes, and the effect eventually will be for some families to become enraged and to say, well, you know, we have to kill Ukrainians, we have to avenge our relatives. For the others, it will be, let's get out of it as soon as possible, and probably for some will become a case for reconsidering what they think about this war and the situation in Russia.
All right, that was Russia analyst Konstantin Eggert. Konstantin, thank you so much.
Thank you.